Is
Yes.
Meghan Markle racist?
I have heard enough now. You are weak and you are pathetic.
Not only are you offensive, you're ignorant. I object to race baiters. You're coming across to me as a terrible race baiter. Shut up. I'm gonna finish. Enough now. Just be quiet.
Breaking right now, a third Netflix star has savaged with Love Meghan and said that the program has been made solely to burn the royal family. Now, this is Whitney Cummings. She has had 2 hit stand-up programs on the streaming service, and she says that Netflix is allowing With Love Meghan to be used simply to troll King Charles, Prince William, Katherine, the Princess of Wales, and the other relatives in the royal family. Watch her extraordinary attack.
I don't think she's trying to make a good show for you guys. No offense. This is nothing to do with making a good show. This show to me is just her subtly roasting the royal family. This isn't made for us. This is made for like 30 people in that castle. That's all she's doing. She's just doing this with her in-laws. Like, she's making this show at them. Like, it's not for us, you guys.
Angela Levin, our royal mastermind, the biographer of Prince Harry and Queen Camilla, is in the house with us. Angela, this is astonishing, isn't it? Because this attack from Whitney Cummings follows a similar takedown from Katherine Ryan. It's very clear these Netflix stars are not really liking sharing the platform with Ms. Meghan Markle.
Yeah, well, they can see right through her now. At first, initially, they gave her a chance and they thought, well, she's had a hard time, but they can now see that she's a monster. And I say that because she's so cruel and she'll do anything to upset the royal family. She couldn't care less, but she does it in a very cunning way that she sort of says something, so they can't actually pick on it and attack her with that. It's a sort of a complaint that people pick up and realize when they look at it, especially a second time, that she's trying to do, I'm going to get you. And in any case, she's not going to listen now. She can do exactly what she wants. Now that she's got her wonderful Instagram, she can do whenever she wants to do it. Doing stupid things like balloons when there's not a child in the area is laughable, but she doesn't care because she wants to just float away with whatever she likes. And she doesn't care about anyone. But if she can get her teeth into any of the senior royals, she'll be absolutely delighted.
This is the biggest proof yet that Meghan Markle's Netflix show was never about empowerment. According to Hollywood insiders, including comedian Whitney Cummings, with Love, Meghan was designed for one thing only: to mock the royal family. And it's not just Whitney saying this. Katherine Ryan has also slammed Meghan, while royal expert Angela Levin just dropped a bombshell, calling Meghan a monster who is obsessed with destroying the monarchy. So the big question is, did Meghan Markle secretly create her Netflix show as a weapon against King Charles, Prince William, and the royals? And why is King Charles too afraid to stand up to her?
And I think it's very uncomfortable because, the Charles and Camilla are older now. And so it's harder for them to sort of fight back. But they've got to look after their health. They've got lots to do. And it's actually making things more difficult for them at one level. And at the other level, they're trying to forget it altogether, which is not easy because, a father loves his son, whatever, but he can't actually talk to him because he knows he will start shouting and making a noise and saying, you still haven't apologized to Meghan. Well, I don't think anyone should apologize to Meghan. I think Meghan should apologize to everybody else. But she would be nobody. Nobody would have heard her. She wouldn't have podcasts, more than a few hundred people looking at it, eating bits from it. But she's not interested in that. She's got to the top now. She feels ready. She's gathered everything she needs. And she's going to just fire them at all of us and couldn't care less. mean, it's scary, actually. I think she's got to a very scary age, and that's why the facial she decided to use is very, very nasty.
Indeed. And Angela Levin, it's not just Netflix stars who have been highly critical of Meghan Markle. It includes really respected commentators, including Tina Brown, who is quite significant in all of this because she was relatively tight to Princess Diana in the 1990s, and she's considered one of those doyen of royal reporters. And in a conversation on her Substack with Janice Min, who again is a highly regarded Hollywood woman, you know, a big Hollywood executive who has run lots of the big publications over there, including the Hollywood Reporter and now the Ankler. And Angela, I mean, they're just damning. And Angela, Tina Brown followed this up by writing, Meghan has come out with a show about fake perfection just when the zeitgeist has turned raucously against it. Do you agree with her analysis?
Yes, I do. I do. I think she also said that she was masquerading as an influencer. And I think that's very good too, that she's sort of giving that image, but not entirely, because she doesn't want you to be to know exactly what she is. She's hopping from one to another to keep you interested, and in fact you get very annoyed and very bored. But I think she's just I hope she's a one-off, and is so many characters or so many arguments or so many reasons not to do this and to do something else, and then to leave your husband, who one hour she's kissing him and cuddling him and holding him and absolutely, oh, I love him so much, and the next he's only allowed 3 minutes in a 8 part story about her eating and what she likes to cook. So he's sort of shriveled up. He's shriveled up, and that's how she likes it, just so that the royal is there. He doesn't need to say anything. He doesn't want him to say anything. He has to walk behind her. He has to tell her how wonderful she is all the time. But she's not actually doing anything properly, is she?
No.
And using her children to help get a lot of people watching, because none of us know them or see them or seen them run around or talk or anything else. It's just for herself. And I think that's, I said to you before, I think it's awful to use children for that. It's for yourself. Everything's for yourself. And that's why people of all sorts just feel that now she's a really dreadful woman that you should keep well away from.
So, let's start with the absolute shocking claim from Netflix's own stars. Because folks, this is unreal. Comedian Whitney Cummings, who has had 2 hit stand-up specials on Netflix, exposed Meghan's true motivation, saying, and I quote, "This show isn't even made for the audience. It's made for like 30 people in the castle. Meghan's just roasting the royal family the entire time. Police car light." She goes on to say that with love, Meghan isn't about making a good show. It's designed to get under the skin of King Charles, Prince William and Princess Kate. And here's the thing, she's right. Just look at what's been happening behind the scenes. Meghan makes subtle digs about being unsupported, clearly a jab at the royals. She releases the show when King Charles is dealing with serious health issues, purely to cause stress. She's reportedly thrilled that the royals are upset. This was the goal all along. And it's not just Whitney calling this out. Katherine Ryan, another Netflix star, has also taken a swipe at Meghan, saying that the show is not what it pretends to be.
Indeed. And oh my goodness, Tina Brown actually went even further. Angela, this was in her post on Substack. And again, I really agreed with her. She wrote, this was of Meghan. She said, masquerading as an influencer, she's the ultimate follower, which means inevitably she is behind the curve. It didn't take a rocket scientist to know that at age 94, the monarch, this is referring to Queen Elizabeth II, clearly only had a few years more to live, at which point the family chess pieces would start to move around the royal power board. All Meghan had to do was shut up and wait. Go quiet for a couple of years, start a family, keep her eyes trained on the splendid royal real estate that would soon come up for grabs. But of course, Angela, she couldn't do that, could she?
No, you see, that's very interesting, isn't it? Because she can't just wait. We've seen that, whether it's some of her cooking or anything like that. She can't wait. When she wanted to leave the royal family, and the Queen was not stopping them, she said she understood it. But if they wouldn't mind waiting so they can make it calm and they can discuss all the detail and they can give a sort of joint statement. No, she doesn't want to. She has to get out when she wants to, straight away.
And the consequences have been, severe, because as Tina Brown sums up, she says 4 years later, the Sussex's life is now all about pretending, showing up at B-list charity galas that would have been tossed into a palace private secretary's reject pile, making uninvited disaster tourism appearance, or going on mock royal tours that only serve to remind us they could have done the real ones with more sizzle than anyone else in the depleted House of Windsor.
Yeah, but she didn't want that because she couldn't bear to walk behind Catherine and William.
Well, she couldn't even bear to walk behind the Queen, could she? Goodness.
No, she couldn't even do that. She wanted, she slipped into a car before the Queen moved in. I mean, you can't believe that. It's just shocking. And she pinches a few bouquets in front of the Queen. You don't push yourself in front of her. You just don't. You don't need to be a member of the royal family to know that. I mean, good manners is that you don't rush in front of an elderly woman just because you want a bunch of flowers or because you don't to wait. She can't wait. She can't wait for anything. And she wouldn't want to go back to it unless she could be totally in charge and she would tell everybody what to do. But she couldn't do it because she's no good at that. We can see that even with soup. And, she can't do anything. It all goes wrong. I don't think there's anything that she's done that she's made a success of. Nothing. It's very hard to think of one. But she's still going on and on.
And Angela, what's interesting is that there has also been a huge amount of backlash this week from within US politics. Now, perhaps not surprisingly, a lot of broadcasters on the right, but these are people who I respect, Angela. So I want to show you some of the reaction. I'll get you to respond as we go. First up, the independent conservative broadcaster Trish Regan, who used to be a star presenter on Fox News.
So at this point, it's clear. Meghan is using Netflix to troll the royal family. The question is why? And how long will she get away with it? And now let's talk about what royal expert Angela Levin had to say, because she just went off on Meghan. Angela Levin, who has covered the royal family for years, says, and I quote, "People are finally seeing through Meghan. She's cruel, manipulative, and obsessed with hurting the royal family. She doesn't care who she upsets. Her goal is to make them suffer." Police Carlight. And she doesn't stop there. Angela straight up calls Meghan a monster. And honestly, she's not wrong. Think about it. Meghan's entire career has been about tearing people down. She threw the entire royal family under the bus with Oprah. She destroyed Kate Middleton's reputation over the fake, crying story. She's now using Netflix as a tool to mock the monarchy. At this point, how much more proof do people need?
Yes. Well, I think she's desperate to be a sort of superstar or a global superstar. And she doesn't accept the fact that people can see right through her. So she carries on her own path, not listening, closing her mind. And it's just going nowhere. But I think that you mentioned just before about how much money she wanted. I don't think she wants so much money because she'd never have enough. It's never enough of anything that she wants. The clothes she wears, the jewelry she puts on. It's always never enough, and she goes on and on and on because she has to be everyone until she wins. She's got the best anything, and it's It's very irritating, actually. I mean, I listened to a couple of people today who were saying that they try to like her a bit, but you just can't. She's so awful. You just like her.
And there are big
and I think
names.
people are,
Yeah, and the other thing is, Angela, it's not just women. I know we've only looked at women so far, but it's also big figures on the right in America, guys who are now speaking about out against this. And again, I wanted to watch with you, and then we'll react after. First up, Ben Shapiro of the Daily Wire. Angela, he's completely right. He is completely
yes, of course,
right.
yes. Well, she uses somebody being racist in many, many times. I mean, she did that from the moving away from the palace. She just knows that she could do that, and nobody can argue with it, really, because she says it so formidably. And although you can say, no, I'm not, I love black people, she won't let you. And this is the thing that she's used for all the time now. But if you see who her friends are, somebody mentioned this about her, when she was on Netflix, that she didn't have one non-white person there. All her friends who she'd invited for lunch or tea, or, I mean, they couldn't have either, could they? Blow a balloon. She didn't have one single black person. I'm not saying she had to, but actually for someone who goes around actually telling everybody that they are racist, you would imagine they would have a mixture of people there, not sort of nice girls with long curly hair and very much white skin.
Fascinating. Angela, another huge name in the American conservative media space. I love this guy, actually, love his podcast, Patrick Bet David. And he's just looking at the figures, Angela, the raw numbers for With Love Meghan, and working out this is just a disaster. But his take is that Meghan doesn't work on her own without Prince Harry. Watch.
Meghan Markle is not a victim. She's on a personal mission to take down the royals. And the worst part? She's not even hiding it anymore. And now let's talk about what's happening behind the scenes. Because according to sources, King Charles is absolutely terrified of dealing with Meghan. Angela Levin reveals that Charles has completely shut down communication with Harry because he knows that if he tries to fix things, Meghan will demand an apology. And guess what? Charles refuses to do it. Why? Because he has nothing to apologize for. But Meghan? She thinks the entire royal family owes her everything.
Angela, I mean, harsh, but I would say absolutely true. Harry has lost all respect.
Yes, of course he has, because the way he walks and the way he behaves, he's not allowed to actually show what his feelings are and how he really feels. But I think Meghan now feels that they've got they're going to part, and they're going to do their work separately. And I think this is Meghan trying it out to see if she can manage, and she doesn't need Harry at all. Though she just had him on for three minutes. But I think that he's stopped doing what he wants now. Before, he went away for a few months, and he went to do quite a lot of visits that he hadn't done for years. But I think she stops him because it's only her. And I think she feels that she can do it, but she's going to be really disappointed that she's not, because people aren't interested. The reason that the Harry and Meghan show drew so many people, 2.1 million, is because they were being incredibly rude about them, telling lies and complaining and being victims of how badly they've been treated. And I think people were shocked, and that people are very interested in those sort of stories. But if she's just going to tell you how to blow a balloon and how to make spaghetti, I don't think that anybody's going to be in the least bit interested. And Harry's out the way. She wants to do these things where he's out the way, and so she can just be the queen of everything that she does. but it won't work because people see right through her, as I said, and you said, we can see that she's not somebody who people like and want and warm to. She thinks she's so cozy and she's lovely and she's still pretty, which is very helpful for her. But actually, as a character, she must be one of the cruelest people they've ever met.
Oh, I know. I know. Very, very well put. Now, Angela, you would say the opposite of cruel is Queen Camilla, someone who you've got to know very well. She has secured the cover of Newsweek this week, the American publication. They've done a bit of an access all areas with her. They haven't spoken to her, though. What do you make of this? Because there was a big revelation, wasn't there, involving Giselle Pelicott within this?
Yes, I mean, I'm all for Queen Camilla, and I don't like to go into the odd things that Newsweek would like to throw around. I think that they don't really like the royals, and they would be quite make difficulty for her. But I think that she's been absolutely amazing. The king is happier. She was there when we had all the COVID, and she did a lot. She has kept up with nearly all of the charities that she'd wanted to do. And people who were ahead of that, when they spoke to me and said they were very lefty, and two or three of them said, we thought that she would just come and then disappear. But actually, she asks, what can I do? And then she goes and does it. So she's not someone who just comes and makes it look a good thing to do, but she really likes to get involved. And this thing about attacking women, which she's been so very, very busy with, I think she's done very well. And at the same time, she's balanced with her own family, so that if they don't want to be shown, they're not, but she takes out time to be their mother and stay with them. They're both grown up and they've got children, so she's also a grandmother. And I think she manages it very well for someone who actually never wanted a career and didn't know what to do, but she's learned how to do that.
Here's what's really going on. Charles knows that Meghan will never be satisfied. She wants control. Every time he tries to reach out, Meghan twists the narrative and demands an apology. Insiders say Charles is done playing into Meghan's games, but will it be enough? And let's be real, should King Charles even waste his time trying to fix things with Meghan? Or is it time for the royals to cut her off completely? And now let's talk about the bigger picture, because this isn't just about with love, Meghan. This is about Meghan's long history of using the media to manipulate the narrative. She used Oprah to destroy the royal family's reputation. She used Spotify to promote herself, until they dropped her for being lazy. Now she's using Netflix as a tool for personal revenge. At what point do we say, enough is enough? Because here's the reality. Meghan Markle has no interest in moving on. She could be living her Hollywood dream right now, but instead, she's still obsessed with the royal family. And why? Because without them she's nothing. So the big question is, how much longer will Netflix and Hollywood support this act? Because let's be honest, if people keep calling her out like this, her days in the industry might be numbered.
I do think that Meghan could have learnt a huge amount from her. She did ask Meghan if she could help her and show her some of the difficult things that go on in the palace. And Meghan very abruptly said, no, Harry will. No. She invited her for lunch with all the food that she liked the best. And Meghan sort of pushed it around, didn't want to eat it. Was too snobby, no thank you, or anything. And I think that when she could have been a respected working royal, but instead she thinks she knows everything and that's it. But the Queen, as we saw this time, is that she has been very careful about women who've been attacked. And one of them who's had the worst time is Giselle Pellicot, her husband Dominique, who's now in prison for 20 years. He had 200 people rape her in her own home. He's given her a drug. And whereas Meghan would go to this woman and say, oh, I'm so sorry, because she wanted to be attention for herself. Like Katherine and William, they waited at Southport with the three bereaved parents whose children were killed with a knife. They waited and things calmed down. And that's what the Queen has done. She asked her aides to find out if she could write to this woman and would she like a letter of support? And the answer came back was yes. So she sent a letter through about how upset she was and to help her. And when she has helped these women, she has often had to go to her room and cry her eyes out because she finds it so ghastly and unbearable. But she knew that if she could give her some encouragement, it could very much help her. Whereas Meghan rushes in, stabs all over Los Angeles, where it could have been somebody's home or it could have been somebody underneath her. She's there first. She was there when children were killed in a school. She was there first because she wants to go with a photographer and his phone. But I thought the way Camilla's done it, the Queen has done it, is very graceful and well behaved. And if Meghan had listened to her and helped her, she helped Katherine quite a lot. And Katherine was very grateful. And it was one of the reasons that William liked Camilla more than he would have done, because he didn't just think, well, my mother's no longer here, I do like Camilla. But he could see how careful she was and how she made Catherine's life easier, because he wouldn't know what was new in a palace, but she did, because she had to learn it for herself, all by herself. And I think she could have done very well, but she can't do that. So she's made a fool of herself. That's Meghan, not Camilla.
Yes, indeed. Angela Levin, brilliant analysis as ever, our royal mastermind. Thank you so much. Now, I do have to tell you, if you sign up to our Substack, www.outspoken.live, you get access first, of course, to our royal after show, including this incredible clash that we filmed yesterday between Lady Colin Campbell and Narinder Kaur.
So, let's break it all down. Meghan Markle's Netflix show has been exposed as nothing more than a way to troll the royal family. Whitney Cummings and Katherine Ryan slam Meghan. She's using Netflix to mock the royals. Angela Levin calls Meghan a monster. She's obsessed with causing pain. King Charles is too afraid to confront Meghan. Will he ever stand up to her? Is this Meghan's most sinister PR stunt yet? At this point, it's clear Meghan's not going away. But the question is, will the royal family finally cut her off for good? So now the big question is, with Love Meghan just a way for Meghan to get revenge on the royals? Should King Charles finally stand up to her? And is this the final proof that Meghan will never move on? Let me know in the comments.